Hello, hi. So welcome to Catch Up with the Catchpoles. So today I'm actually going to be interviewing Ray on leaving his job.
Different stance.
Yeah, different stance. So he left his job 1 year ago. So on the 8th of February, it was 1 year.
Can't believe it's a year already.
So it's gone so fast. So I just wanted to ask him some questions to find out a bit about how he's feeling about it all and how he thinks it's gone. So
no idea what's really coming. So it's going to be very interesting to see what she's asking me.
I know, it's a different way of doing it, isn't it? So what has life been like, Ray, since leaving your job?
Good question. I guess where to begin in that stance.
It might be good actually just to tell people who don't know what you did.
Okay, so I will look at you for this part. So before I went full-time property, I was working in banking at the Bank of England. I've been there for just over 6 years, working in several different roles in the Prudential Regulation Authority, in like the authorisations department. I've been in statistics division. I'd worked in HR for a bit. Absolutely loved the people I was with, liked the work to an extent, absolutely loved the bank and the building and what it represented, but always felt I was meant to be doing something for myself. So that's where property came from. If you're not too sure about what we've done, go back and watch the first episode of Catch Up with the Catchpoles, and we talk a lot about it in more detail there.
Yeah, so what has life been like since leaving your job?
So different, to be honest. It's kind of hard to know where to begin because it's been so busy, but also a bit of a blur at times. I feel grateful for having this opportunity, but I also feel it's been a very tough challenge in other ways at the same time. Just trying to manage it, just not knowing. Well, I just didn't anticipate what was going to go on, what has gone on. It's been amazing having like the free. Well, I say free time. It's not been free time, but having the opportunity to pick and choose when I delve into things. As you know, like if I just wanted to have a bit of downtime, I just can, or I want to pop to the gym during the day, I can. But in reality, that didn't happen at the beginning. It was pretty full on from the beginning. We took on those 2 projects, as you know, right at the beginning, and that just meant it's kind of like hit the ground running instantly, and it's kind of almost didn't have time to come up for air straight away. So that's probably part down to me to not plan my time effectively when I first left. So yes, a tip I would definitely give you all is when you're leaving. If you're thinking of leaving your job to go full-time into your business, plan effectively. We knew these deals were coming up, but we kind of almost had our head a bit buried in the sand. I knew they would come, we didn't quite know when they were going to complete. So, and where work got so busy with the handover, so I gave like 4 to 5 months notice, it almost like I just didn't have time to plan effectively. So really think about that because it put you in a good position, because then it was like I was more just coping with what came up along the way. But yeah, it's been amazing, to be honest. It's been great to know I have that freedom, even though I'm busier than I've ever been.
Yeah, for sure. And I know, like, before when you're obviously in the job, you really want to leave the job.
Yes.
So what was that transition like for you from being in a 9-to-5 job to then having effectively so much of your own time?
So I guess the transition was quite tough, to be fair, at first. Really found it hard to know when to keep myself accountable. So that aspect to know when to get up compared to at work, obviously, you know, you've got to be up like, say, 6:37, or I'd get up at 5:30 to go to the gym first. Whereas I suddenly had no one to tell me I had to get up. So it was like the first few weeks I was a bit like, what am I doing? When do I get up? When do I do this? When do I have lunch? When do I go to this? Not that my job was really regimented. You just have a bit of a routine. And that transition was quite hard because I actually found myself a bit demotivated, just not knowing where to begin. So that's where that planning aspect 100% would have helped me to begin with. But yeah, once the transition took hold and I started to get into the swing of things, and those 2 deals came along at the right time that I just got going, that really felt I was in my element. But those first few weeks were definitely tough, and it was amazing as well because I knew that if I did want to have that freedom to go and do something else, I could just go and do something any time. And
I think that's the thing when you first left as well, you obviously became your own manager.
Yes.
Effectively.
Yeah,
so
I did,
before you would have your manager to hold you accountable to things, whereas now you were basically the manager.
Yeah.
You own your own business. We own our own business. And then obviously with us, because we're obviously a couple, although I try to manage you, it's a different dynamic completely. And I think what often happens is because I'm too close, you don't want to listen to me.
Yeah.
And I think that was often what. So I'm like, why are you not getting up now?
Yeah, sometimes it can be a bit too close to home to want to answer that. And you know for sure that same with you, when I ask you to do something, you don't always want to do it because there's that relationship battle, kind of what's work, what's business, it overlaps quite a lot. So yeah, obviously when there's a manager, you know, even though you might not want to do it, you know you're doing it for a reason because you've got a paycheck coming and you know you have to do it, otherwise that's at risk. Whereas with me, I knew I was responsible for anything I did, but if you maybe asked me to do something, why are you not doing that? I wasn't quite sure of the answer. So I know I was working towards a goal, but I didn't quite know what was kind of going on for me in that sense.
And how do you feel that leaving your jobs impacted the property business that we have?
Oh, hugely. I think it came at the right time. Those 2 projects that we had on, we turned into 3 projects eventually. I don't believe we would have been able to do them as successfully as we did. There's a lot of stuff that went on with them, and I ended up visiting the area, so up in Croatia, and they end up visiting the area almost every week, which I could have done at work, but it would have been an extra toll on me physically and mentally. It was quite tough mentally and generally, but I'd have to have done that weekend, and I wouldn't have built the relationship with the teams that would have led to future projects coming up, and it would have just been a lot of a bigger challenge, and I wouldn't have grown as much within myself within the business. I learned so much during those stages of each of the projects. We had people down tools during those projects. How would we have dealt with that, knowing the builders have down tools while I was at work? We would have coped with it, but it would have been a completely different scenario. I would have been stressing at work, trying to pick up phone calls, doing stuff like that, and it just would have been really tough. So I guess a lesson or tip for anyone else is just that if you're thinking of leaving your job, or you're thinking of not leaving your job, you're thinking of taking your business to the next level, that's when you might need to consider obviously taking that step, because it's going to get a lot busier for you a lot quicker, and this year's getting even busier. So I think that step's helped us, because it's meant we could push on a lot more, that if we didn't do that, it wouldn't be possible.
And what do you feel life would be like now if you hadn't left?
Oh, I don't know. I was in a space where I was not happy in my day-to-day life. I was really resenting going into work. I was in a team that I wasn't really loving being a part of, because I'd been in it for 4 years plus. But I'd lost the motivation to find other roles, because I knew that this was the path I wanted to go down. Another 1.5 years, 2 years later, I'm not too sure how that would have impacted me. I would have been trying to find any way to kind of keep my enjoyment, or get that enjoyment in life, that buzz that I was looking for, that property gives me, and that I'm growing myself. There would have been ways I would have done it. I would have found new roles within the company that would have definitely made that step, but mentally it would have been quite tough on me. There was days where I remember I'd wake up and I'd be quite negative, because I didn't want to think about doing that role, because I was ready to transition. Because I was ready to transition, that meant I'd already gone before I actually had, so that would be quite tough, another 1.5 years of that on top of it.
And I think probably what didn't help, or maybe it did help, I don't know, you can tell me, but you had like a 3 months before you gave as a notice period.
Yes.
So it was actually quite far. It was like within touching distance, but not quite yet.
Yeah, so it actually ended up being 4.5 months.
Oh, really? Was it that long?
4.5. So 3 months was the minimum I had to give, but I gave longer because I wanted to help out the team. Didn't want to leave them in the lurch. So yeah, that did help. It also hindered me to an extent as well, because after the 2 months to 3 months, I was ready to go, and I guess I'd made a decision in the summer to leave. So it was actually still like 8-9 months till I actually left. So that transition ended up being quite long. So once you've made the decision, that's probably the hardest time once you're in your job, because you've gone mentally, but you're still there.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously the time just then ticked on, and it's staying motivated to make sure you do a good enough job for the people. You don't want to leave them in a bad position. That's 100% what I didn't want to do. But I was already focusing part of my attention on what I was going to be doing when I left. So it was trying to manage that effectively, and that was quite a challenge to be sure, for sure, just to make sure that was happening.
Yeah. Awesome. So, what made you decide, or not what made you decide, but at what point did you think this is when I need to leave my job, and how did you come to that decision?
I always knew it was something I wanted to do from the moment we decided to get into property. It was a goal I was aiming for, and I gave myself like a year to push and get that, but that didn't end up happening. But I wasn't bothered that it didn't happen. But I think the transition was, well, you obviously got made redundant from your job, and you were working full-time property at the time, but you absolutely missed what you was doing, because you're one of those few people who absolutely love what they do. So for me, that was a realisation that, oh wow, we've got this the wrong way round, because we was trying to get you out first, because I earned more than you. So we was thinking about kind of keeping the bills going, whereas in hindsight we realised that was the wrong thing to be doing. I was the one that was going to be driving the property business. You wanted to still be in the business, but focusing on your coaching and your neurodiverse work. So we realised, let's switch it around and utilise our strengths a lot better. And I think it was just the point where I realised that I wasn't motivated to find another role within work, so I had to make a decision of what I was going to do moving forward. So that's the bit where I was saying that I could have gone for other roles, but I didn't. I kept thinking about it, so it was like, okay, what's the real decision here? So my decision was, okay, I need to work towards finding a date now. And I didn't have that date in mind, but I kept discussing different things with work about maybe taking a year's secondment, maybe a secondment, a year leave, getting unpaid leave to go and give it a go. But I realised it wasn't going to help us anyway, because we weren't going to have any money coming in. So it was just exploring all these ideas, and that was about 10, 12 months before. So it was kind of a bit of a lead up to it. It wasn't just an overnight decision. It took a couple of years to get to that decision. But it was just a kind of accumulation of all those things together, and then just realising one day that actually for me to push on and be the best I can be and make the most of business, it was the right decision for us to push on, because we weren't in a position to actually afford to live. That's why you went back to work and we switched over. But without that, we wouldn't be where we are now 100%, because there'll be excuses coming up that would be holding us back. And there has been a lot of that anyway, but it'd be more, I imagine, that would have done that. So
looking back, would you have done anything differently? Like, do you feel like you did leave at the right time, or would you have left it longer?
It's a tough decision. There's yes and no answers to both of those. I could have said, I could have left it longer, and 100% did I leave early because was it the easy way out? Potentially. But it would have been easier to have stayed for longer, to have more income that would have put into the properties or to support us a lot better. I 100% believe it's the right time. Everything happens at the right time for the right reason. But would I have done anything differently? I think I potentially just that plan aspect that I said I would have, because when I first decided to leave, I had a clear plan of what I wanted to achieve. But then I got so caught up in I need to do a right job to hand it over to, and then we had the new projects we focused on. I didn't think of the long-term plan. I was like, just focus on the moment. So 100% just going, okay, what's my goal for this year? What am I going to achieve? How much time am I spending here? What's my day-to-day routine going to be like? And plan that effectively, because that would have meant I would have utilised the time a lot better. And I think I utilised it well, but a lot of it was reactive rather than proactive. And that's 100% the difference to where we are now. This year is a lot more proactive, and that's where we're seeing even more and more results.
Definitely. I think from my perspective, obviously watching you leave your job, I think you were unhappy, and I think that was one of the big drives, like, let's get you out. And I think we were like, what do we want to do more? Do we want, like, we could have kept you in, and then we could have had more money coming in, so our life would be more comfortable.
We would have been happier.
But then we were like, would you have been happier, or would you not have been happier? And then we were like, you know what, like, we need to actually have more pain. So part of us was like, if you leave, that means we literally can just about live, which means we have to push on. And I think that partly worked. And then what I'm thinking about maybe didn't as well is because we got you out. So because you were out of your job.
It was almost like that goal had been achieved.
So we kind of ended up.
We plateaued
down.
a bit. But it wasn't. It wasn't even the
about.
intention, because we hadn't achieved half the things we needed to do. Hadn't helped our families. Hadn't got to our figures that we needed to achieve. But it's almost like, I achieved that goal, but hadn't achieved it. So it kind of tricked me to thinking into a kind of false sense of security. So then I realised after like maybe a few weeks, I was like, crap, this is not. I haven't done what I need to do yet. I need to kick on. So that was definitely had an impact on us in that sense.
Cool. So is there anything else you'd like to share with the viewers in terms of your learnings or any advice? I
feel I want to flip a question onto you.
Oh, okay.
Just because obviously you got made redundant from your job back in the May before, so just under a year before me. Is there anything from your perspective you would like to share with the viewers from what it was like from your perspective as someone who is passionate about what they do, and how maybe the decision wasn't within your hands, but how it wasn't necessarily the right thing?
It was interesting. So when obviously I got made redundant, so I always wanted to leave my job, because it wasn't the healthiest of work environments in terms of how much work I was having. But I really enjoyed it, and I think probably I'd lost some of the enjoyment because I was massively being overworked. And I think being able to go and do something different was great. And then when I started picking it up a little bit, just like, why not? That's when I realised, oh wow, I massively missed this. So doing the property stuff when I did it on my own, I think helped me grow massively as a person, because I think for me, I was very much relying on you. So I'd always be like, oh, Ray, can you do this? Can you do this? So it was actually being given me like full reins. It was a really weird like switch.
It was.
Ray was like always the driving force. You were the one that did property. I was just like, I'll just be the doting wife or join it along and support you. And then it was suddenly like, now I was doing it. And I
found that quite tough. I found that very tough, because I was like, almost like having to hold myself back to allow you to grow. Whereas being that driving force, I wanted to push on and wanted to do stuff, but I knew that wasn't going to benefit you. And that was really tough for me, because I felt I wasn't growing the way I wanted, for sure, as well. So it was the right thing to let you grow that way, but it was tough for me as well, because obviously I felt like it was like almost like my baby that I was kind of growing. And it was quite tough to be like, you've got this now. But I had full faith in you, but it was still tough for me to let go of that, for sure.
I definitely remember that. So I think that it definitely helped me to go and get involved. And then obviously when we kind of switched it back again, then it was like I kind of basically stepped back
yeah,
quite a lot.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I love doing this. You off you go again.
Yeah.
And it's only recently that we realised we've like sat down and thought, well, actually, we work best when we're very much more together. And I think specifically this year, I know it's only early into the year, we're definitely more aligned.
Yes.
I'm doing more of the property stuff and I'm actually enjoying it.
Yeah, found an aspect you do enjoy more in it.
Yeah, it was weird because it was like you wanted to leave your job to do property and then I actually wanted to go back because I didn't enjoy property. Or I only really enjoyed it if you were there with me.
Yeah, you didn't realise which part you enjoyed and which part you didn't. You hadn't taken time to really think about that. So that's something that's taken some time for you to really realise to remember why you got into it to begin with, because you forgot that when you was working on it, you just focused on what you wasn't enjoying.
Yeah, and I think, and also my why changed as well. So when I first started, I was like, I'm doing this because I want to have children and I want to be financially free to be able to provide for my kids.
Yeah.
And because I was very much baby driven before we started, I was like, I want a baby. And then as soon as I got my teeth into something, like the baby thing kind of went out the window because I was occupied by something else and I was growing and enjoying doing it. So then I wasn't really as bothered about, I still wanted kids, but it wasn't like my top priority anymore. So therefore my why had kind of disappeared because I wasn't as bothered about having kids.
Yeah.
So I had to then find why I was doing it, and I actually found that really hard to do. Yeah,
it is a really tough thing. Once you lose that connection, it's really to reconnect with it, and it's still the same why for you, but you just forgot that why.
Yeah.
And that is tough because that's why you lost your motivation to maybe go and do stuff. The same as I lost my motivation at the beginning because I thought I'd achieved something that I hadn't. Mm-hmm. You lost it because you lost your why, and that's quite tough as well. Yeah, for sure.
And it's just trying to find it. Again.
Yeah. So I guess tip from your side is then just really focusing on why you're doing something to begin with. I guess that's a key tip by sounds of it from what I'm hearing.
And I think it's about doing stuff that you find challenging because there's so much growth in it.
Yeah.
And I could easily have gone, no.
Yeah.
I'm not taking over.
Yeah.
In a way, I've been forced to.
Yes.
To do it. But there was so much growth there that I had. So definitely don't shy away from doing things that that make you feel uncomfortable or that you're going to step outside your comfort zone. But I think finding your why is the important thing, is because you need to know why you're doing it.
Yeah, definitely. So 100%. So I think that's a big tip. That's one thing I mentioned as well. Thinking about, well, you've got why you're doing it. Mine's why you want to leave your job, and then what your plan is for that year, because that led me astray not having that plan. I had a plan before, but then lost track of that plan.
Yeah.
So again, why you're doing that, why you're that taking action, and really plan that out. And just know that first year is going to be challenging because it's a completely different transition. So just plan effectively. Know you're going to have things that come up you don't expect, and just dealing with them as you can. You can't completely focus having this plan. It's going to be, I'm going from A to Z 100%. Just have a plan of what you want to achieve, but know that you can sway with it, and just be grateful for the opportunity you have. Because that's something I realised when there were tough days. Like, wait, I'm in a position here where I can pick and choose. I know I'm really busy and busier than ever, and I still am now. But it was great benefit to have that, and just make sure you're just leaving for the right reasons. So I was leaving because it was the right thing for the business at that time. But if you're staying, make sure it's for the right reasons, that it's because you want to have the more income or that you love your job. If you're leaving, make sure it's the right time. You're not just jumping ship because you want to. It needs to be the right time for you, 100%. Because you could jump too early and then it's not right for you, and you don't. It takes time to build that momentum. So build the momentum first, and then when you're ready,
and obviously you didn't just leave because you didn't like it.
No, not at all.
We knew we had enough money to survive.
Yeah.
But that's it. We had literally enough money to survive.
Which actually gave me an extra drive as well. Once I realised after a few weeks that we hadn't achieved, because I was like, just left my job, but I wasn't there yet. I was like, okay, now I need to push on. So it gave me that drive, and now it's still driving me now to get there to help the family and stuff. Yeah,
because I think it then, in a way, reversed, because obviously you were then looking at me thinking, I was trying to work, so putting all the work, because I was like, now I had this support. And obviously I'm self-employed, so I had to look for the work. I didn't have a guaranteed salary, did I? So then that was your drive, because you were like, I don't want you to keep working so much.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
It just keeps rotating.
Keeps bouncing back and forth. 100%. There's been times, like I said, it is challenging. There's been times where I was like, it'd be so much easier just going back to the day job, but that wouldn't keep me satisfied in the long run. I'd be straight back in the same position thinking I'm looking for an out. So that's just a short-term win that would be like, it's just easier taking the easy route, going back to a job, taking the easy route and having the easy life, whereas it's actually taking the hard route now will give me a better life in the future. So that's why we did it. So it was like, take the step, do it, and that will really serve us well. And the drive is still to allow you to have more freedom in your job. Like you said, for me, if I push a bit more, you can go down to less days, or you can pick and choose. And I know you'll still want to work, so it's just making sure we do it in the right way.
And I think it's for us. Obviously, we only have each other.
Yes.
So we don't have any kids to consider that we can't feed.
No.
So we knew we had if this happens, we've got X, Y, Z in place.
But we try not to focus on that because we want to focus on the positive of going forward rather than this could happen. We focus on this, what could happen in a good way. So that was the way we were pushing on for sure.
Yeah, and we did it.
You did, yeah.
So yes.
Yes.
And I think we're in a good space in terms of timing now. Proud of us.
Yeah, me too.
So well done.
Awesome.
Well, I hope you have enjoyed that little insight and finding out a bit more about how we both left our jobs and how we've both found it in the last year for you.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope you've enjoyed that. Feel free to comment if you wish any questions.
Please subscribe if you found this useful. We'll be doing more updates, so we've got a commitment to ourselves now to do at least a couple of videos a week. So we'll be showing a lot more content on here, so please like and subscribe, and you'll get the first sight of everything that comes on.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. Take care.